She's there.
Live? No? Does that mean no? Just wondering.
From Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Next on Good Morning Colorado, a home in Rock Rimmon went up in flames this morning. Neighbors say they've never seen anything like it. We are live with the details on this investigation that's just now beginning.
Now we're tracking a chance for some higher than normal fire dangers we go through this afternoon, but also very warm temperatures. A pleasant day with a bit of a breeze. Details in that forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
And new this morning, he tried to flee the country, but now a man is in custody after a body was discovered in a Colorado Springs storage center. We'll show you who is now facing murder charges. Good morning, Colorado. Thanks for joining us. It's 8 a.m. on your Saturday, April 23rd. I'm Bonnie Silkman. First up this morning, a large fire destroyed a home this morning in Colorado Springs. The two-alarm fire began around 1 a.m. in the 6900 block of Blackhawk Place. That's in the Rock Rimmon area in Colorado Springs. And we still don't know what started this fire. KRDO News Channel 13's Carl Winder is live where this happened. Carl, we understand the home was heavily damaged.
Bonnie, firefighters are still out here, and as you can see behind me, they're at this home trying to figure out what started this fire. Emergency crews responded to the fire just after 1 this morning. Witnesses say they heard an explosion and saw a large ball of fire inside one of the houses in the neighborhood, and firefighters used a different tactic to take care of this fire.
Fire was so involved inside that we kept everybody outside. We made it a defensive fire, so nobody's been inside. We were able to keep the fire from leaving the building, the structure itself, and escaping up the hill into the wildlands, so that was good, and no other structures were threatened or damaged.
The house suffered heavy damage from the flames and is considered unsafe, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. In Colorado Springs, Carl Winder, KRDO News Channel 13.
Carl, thank you. Fortunately, everyone is okay. We'll, of course, keep you updated on this developing story. He tried to flee the country, but now the man accused of killing a Colorado Springs resident and dumping their body in a storage unit is in custody. James Wu is facing murder charges. Federal investigators found him yesterday at the SeaTac airport in Seattle, waiting to board a flight to Hong Kong. Investigators have not released any details regarding the victim. We do know that the victim's body was found inside of a van that they owned. That van was parked inside of the storage unit. Wu immediately became a suspect because he rents that same storage unit. With the help of the FBI, investigators discovered that Wu had flown from Denver to Seattle. He was preparing to flee the country. Federal agents stopped him just in the nick of time.
We got the information. He was an hour from departing the States for Hong Kong. We were able to get a hold of the Department of Homeland Security, provide them with the information, and they made the apprehension on the aircraft.
As of late last night, James Wu was still at the airport waiting for the FBI to pick him up and bring him back to El Paso County. Investigators have not said why he may have killed the victim. We'll, of course, keep you updated. All right, let's talk about our weekend weather because it's going to be a good conversation for most of us who enjoy sunshine. A live look right now in Kim with our new Viero wireless neighborhood weather network cameras bringing us views from all across the region of southern Colorado. So Jay is everyone's favorite guy, right? Last week we were talking 2 feet of snow. Now we're talking maybe a little moisture, but mostly beautiful conditions.
That's right. I guess we are slightly more popular than we were last weekend.
Yeah.
No 2 feet of snow to deal with for our friends up in Woodland Park. Be curious to know if some of that snow is still on the ground, especially in the shady spots. As we look at Kim, south of town, Kim is one of those places where there will be a higher than normal fire dangers. There is a red flag warning, which is in effect from 11 o'clock this morning until 7 o'clock this evening, as you can see on your screen, for all those areas highlighted in the red, which doesn't just include Kim, which is right there. It also extends over to Trinidad, up towards Pueblo, over towards La Junta, as well as just off to the west of Lamar and up into the Ordway area as well as we go through this afternoon into this evening. So that's one of the things that we're tracking for you as we go through this afternoon. Scattered storms are also in the forecast, and it will be much more active as we go through the next week or so. We see a couple of storm systems that'll make their way through the region. 56 right now in the Springs, 50 in Pueblo, 54 in Canyon City. How about 66 already in La Junta, 64 in Lamar? No wonder you're heading for the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. 62 in Trinidad, 53 in Walsenburg, 40s and 50s up in the mountains. Skycast as we go through the rest of the afternoon. Not only will there be some wind to elevate that fire danger, there will also be some scattered showers and storms to deal with. And yes, there could be snow above 12 and 13,000 feet. So that's reflected as you look at your Skycast as we go through 7 o'clock. By the time we go into midnight, most of what we see is gone. The heaviest showers and storms today will be over towards the Kansas line and points just westward from there over towards Lamar and Springfield, especially up towards Lamar, and points northward towards Burlington. Then by midnight, it's pretty much all gone. Look at your high temperatures today. No surprise, as we talked about with La Junta already sitting at 66. That we're predicting a high for you of 86, 87 in Lamar, 82 in Pueblo, 76 in the Springs, 78 in Canyon City, 50s and 60s up in the mountains. Details in that forecast take you around the region, show you the active weather pattern that we're sitting in, that we're going to be affected by over the next several days. It's going to make us track some storms for you. Show you those details coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Jay, thank you. Investigators in Pueblo County say they've made their 11th illegal marijuana bust just this month. And as KRDO News Channel 13's Katie Spencer reports, sheriff's deputies say this is one that was fairly complex.
Bureau Chief Dave Lucero says it's the most elaborate marijuana grow he's ever seen.
The amount of equipment that was involved in this grow is by far the most expensive one that we have seen.
In another quiet Pueblo West neighborhood, an arrest was made for an illegal marijuana grow. The Pueblo County Sheriff's Office arrested 59-year-old Eric Arroyo, who they say was growing 170 marijuana plants in the home that he was renting.
And by far this is the highest grade marijuana that the Sheriff's Office has seen thus far.
This home in Pueblo West looks normal from the outside, but as you can see, looks can be deceiving.
They have those elaborate security systems. That's what we're looking for.
The home had $200,000 worth of equipment, including a hash oil extraction system and plants in different stages of growth.
So this would be a cloning room. It's where he would start his clones. You can see that they can fit 4 plants to a pot, versus in the other rooms you're going to see 1 plant per pot.
Arroyo was from Florida, and Lucero says there was evidence that the marijuana wasn't staying in Colorado.
They weren't going to be selling this product here in Colorado. They're growing it in Colorado, and they're exporting it, clearly exporting it out of the state of Colorado.
The sheriff's office was alerted by a neighbor who was suspicious. Lucero says he expects they will continue to receive tips and make busts.
Unfortunately, I think this is the beginning of a very, very long road.
That was KRDO News Channel 13's Katie Spencer reporting. Deputies say they are looking to make other arrests in connection to this investigation. And Pueblo police say a program designed to catch criminals in the Steel City is working. The Safe Streets Criminal Roundup program began on April 1st. Since then, 4 of the 9 criminals targeted by police have been captured. A police sergeant says it's a good start, but it takes more than police to put criminals behind bars.
And our goal is letting everybody know we can't do this by ourselves. It takes the eyes of the community to assist us.
Police say programs like the Neighborhood Watch Groups help capture criminals in the Safe Streets program. And the Safe Streets Task Force says these are the latest wanted suspects in Pueblo. Police are looking for 31-year-old Michael Gonzalez and 25-year-old Jose Mena. Gonzalez is wanted for parole violation. Mena is wanted on several charges, including felony escape. If you have any information, you're asked to call Pueblo Police or Crime Stoppers at 542-STOP. A Colorado Springs man is facing federal charges for pointing a laser at airplanes at the Colorado Springs airport. 21-year-old Eric Gao was indicted on 3 charges. If convicted, he could face a 5-year prison sentence and a $250,000 fine. Last year, pilots reported more than 7,000 laser strikes across the U.S. 31 of those happened at the Springs airport. Happening now, heads up for drivers. The on and off ramps at I-25 in Fillmore are closed right now. Fillmore is also closed from Chestnut Street to Mark Dabbling. We're taking a live look at I-25 and Fillmore right now. Construction is going on back there in Colorado Springs, and crews are replacing asphalt. They're also working on the new bridge project that is coming to a close, but still drivers can use Garden of the Gods or Fontanero as a detour. This area will remain closed all weekend, so you'll certainly want to prepare for that. It is expected to reopen 5 a.m. Monday morning. Investigators in Ohio are on the lookout for anyone who may have been involved in a series of murders. Still ahead, we are hearing from investigators at the scene. And a live look outside, Highway 24 and Ridge, no complaints. And look how green everything is. Quite the change from some whiteout conditions we were seeing here last weekend. Jay, a pretty nice weekend in store for us.
That's right. Now, you're talking about that I-25 and Fillmore camera. I also want to point out there are a few clouds on it, but despite that, temperatures are in the 50s. It was 56 at the airport, 58 at I-25 and Fillmore, and there will be a couple of storms that we'll be tracking later on today. If you want to track them right along with us, get our Storm Tracker 13 app, won't you? It's at the App Store or on Google Play. Details Net Forecast take you around the region, show you that active weather pattern. Coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. We're taking a live look in Salida. Gorgeous view looking at Mount Chavano, of course. Blue skies, some clouds, but still, hey, 45 degrees. And our time is now 8:12. A manhunt is underway in southern Ohio this morning after 8 people were found shot to death in several homes. As ABC's Eva Pilgrim reports, residents say they are on edge. It's new for you this morning.
A massive manhunt this morning, 8 people dead and a killer still on the loose. Police warning residents to keep their doors in this Ohio community locked as the search continues for the shooter.
We do not know whether we're talking about one individual or 2 or 3 or more.
There is a threat there, and I believe that threat to be armed and dangerous.
On Friday, a 911 caller reporting the gruesome discovery. Investigators say 7 adults and 1 16-year-old all killed execution style, all members of the same family that investigators think were targeted. Their bodies found in 4 homes, all less than 2 miles apart.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, you know, the The one mom apparently was killed in her bed with the 4-day-old right there.
That newborn among 3 children who survived the massacre. Stunned family members gathered at a nearby church.
Never have I ever imagined such devastation to a family, to a county.
It's just a terrible thing. You'd have to be a monster to go in and do something like that.
That was ABC's Eva Pilgrim reporting. Investigators are not releasing the identities of the victims. They do confirm that they were related. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton is hoping to clinch the Democratic nomination in the next round of primaries, but Senator Bernie Sanders isn't giving up. We're hearing from both candidates coming up.
And we're tracking warm and windy weather today around southern Colorado. And as you take a look around the west, you see the temperatures are mild just about everywhere. 56 in the Springs, and also at Albuquerque, as well as up in Rapid City. 57 in Casper, 51 in Seattle, 71 in Phoenix, 68 in Dallas. Details in that 7-day forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Well, it certainly is a cloudy start to our morning around most of southern Colorado, but so far the clouds haven't given us any kind of showers. They will later on this afternoon, though. Places like Woodland Park could see an isolated shower or two. Here's a view from Highway 24 and Fairview Street with our Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center camera. Looking down the pass this morning, looking real pretty for us. 50 degrees right now, the current temperature, and the winds are calm, at least at the moment. Temperatures by the time we finish it off are going to wind up in the 60s in places like Woodland Park, but we'll be in the 70s in the spring, 76, 82 in Pueblo, 78 in Canyon City, 70s and 80s all up and down the Front Range. Mid-80s as you get out into the plains, 86 in La Junta, 87 in Lamar, 83 in Burlington, 77 for Lyman, 76 in Denver. Temperatures, meanwhile, in the high country sitting in the 50s and 60s by the end of the day, 67 in Salida and 50 in Leadville. Zooming it out now to the western view, we showed you those temperatures a minute ago. This is what the Skyscan satellite and radar looks like. You see a few showers off to our west over portions of Utah. Nice counterclockwise circulation tells us that low pressure is going to be in the forecast as we go through the next couple of days, going to make its way off to the north. This will be the first system of a couple that we're going to be tracking for you as we go through the weekend. Skycast shows us what's going to happen over the next day or so. Notice that chance for showers pops up over Colorado by 4 o'clock this afternoon, starting along into the west of the interstate and pushing its way over towards the eastern plains. And as it does so, it could pick up a little bit of steam, maybe produce some gusty winds, some not large hail, but certainly some hail is possible as well as we go through our Saturday night. And this is the second storm right here. So the first storm moves off to our north, drags a weak front through, gives us a chance for those showers and storms. Then the second storm comes at us. This is our next chance for the rain, perhaps even some snow in the higher elevations as we go through our Monday. That will be another storm that we'll be tracking for you. Here's a view by Sunday at 4:15. You see the first storm is off to our north. The second storm is approaching, sitting over the Great Basin and making its way into Utah. And the front that's associated with this next storm is right here over portions of Nevada. Meanwhile, high pressure is in charge of our weather, but only temporarily. So the first storm is gone. The high pressure center takes over on Sunday. That makes our weather calmer. And here comes a second storm with this trailing front. And that, of course, gives us the next chance for rain that we'll see on Monday, which you can see in the forecast right here. 10 and 20% shots are not all that high, but they are there certainly. Temperatures as we go from Saturday through Monday go from 76 to 69 to 67 and drop into the upper 50s and lower 60s as slightly cooler air begins to invade the state. A third storm, this one right here, is going to give us a better chance for showers and storms as we end off the forecast. In Pueblo, our 7-day forecast, we go from 82 to 75 to 73. Then it's mid to upper 60s to right around 70 as we end off the forecast period for us. In Canyon City, we're sitting in the upper 70s at first. Then it's lower 70s on Sunday and Monday. Lower to middle 60s take us through the rest of the forecast, pushing 70 by the time we end things off next Friday. In Teller County, we're in the low 60s at first. Then it's mid to upper 50s for the next couple of days. Back to Woodland Park we go for that end of the 7-day forecast, where we're going to be sitting in the lower to middle 50s. And yeah, there's a chance for some snow to mix in, but that's mainly above the Woodland Park level. Perhaps even Divide could maybe get a flurry or two as we go through the morning time, especially with temperatures dropping into the upper 20s to right around 30 as we end off the forecast. Otherwise, it is fairly pleasant weather, at least in terms of what it was like compared to what it was like a week ago. There will not be 24 inches of snow in Woodland Park, as we were talking about last weekend, with this next coming storm.
Oh my goodness, such a change. I mean, that's Colorado for you. It's going to be a great idea to get outside this weekend.
That's true. It will be a great idea because this is a good weekend to do it because obviously temperatures are going to be in the 50s and 60s. Yes, you'll be ducking and dodging some rain, but not that much of it. We'll see.
Gotcha. All right, Jake, thank you so much. Welcome. Hillary Clinton is hoping for a knockout blow in the next round of primaries next week, but as ABC's David Wright reports, Bernie Sanders isn't giving up yet. It's new in Your Decision 2016.
All aboard. Next up on this whistle-stop campaign are all states on the Northeast Corridor, familiar to anyone who's ridden Amtrak: Rhode Island, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. People are dubbing this the Acela primary.
Hi, everybody.
Clinton is hoping to ride this train right over Bernie Sanders and effectively end any threat he might pose.
I want to be the champion for all of America, but particularly for our children and our grandchildren. They deserve no less.
Clinton, joined by her two brothers, was in Scranton, PA last night, another of her hometowns. Their father was born here, and they spent summers here as kids.
Didn't we sled down Court Street one winter?
Sanders is not giving up the fight, quoting Lincoln in Gettysburg.
The fight that we are still waging in this country right now is to maintain a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Sanders stopped short of calling the Democratic contest a civil war, but said that win or lose Tuesday, he's in this all the way through California.
I am in this race to the end. I believe it is good for the Democratic Party that we have a vigorous debate, that we bring more people into the process.
That was ABC's David Wright reporting. Sanders will need to win at least 80% of the remaining delegates to clinch this nomination. Well, after losing to a penalty kick in Seattle, the Colorado Springs Switchbacks are hoping to spring back at home today. Still to come, we'll show you when today's match against San Antonio kicks off, and we'll give you a look at your game day forecast at Switchback Stadium.
Coming up in sports, plenty of question marks for the Denver Broncos as we head into the draft, and none bigger than the quarterback position. Hear what John Elway has to say about his current situation at QB coming up. Good morning, I'm Nick Rothschild, and this is your morning sports update. If the 2016 NFL season started today, this man would be your Denver Broncos starting quarterback, Mark Sanchez. And if John Elway is to be believed, Broncos are okay with that. Look, they're not going to go into the season with just Sanchez and Trevor Siemian at quarterback, but even if that were the case, you wouldn't find the Broncos front office sweating.
We're happy with Mark. I mean, I think that Mark was the starting point for us, and now it's, we want to find somebody to come in and compete with him. And Trevor's going to compete too, so he's going to be one of those guys. And we've talked about just staying at 3 and throwing a ball out there and seeing who comes out with it.
Quarterback number 3 to be determined. Spring football down in Pueblo last night. Thunderwolves smacking some pads. And this is why you don't throw into double coverage, kids. Zach Young with the pick there. That's one of his 2 on the night. Finally, take a look at this. Brandon Edwards hits Michael Riston. And if the name sounds familiar, that's right. He's the nephew of head coach John Riston. A couple of nice moves by the young man. Overall, a good night and a good start for the Thunderwolves football journey.
Most people just want to have a summer vacation. Yeah, it's nice. But, if you want to be great, you got to be working.
I'm here to play my hardest every play. I'm not too worried about the numbers. My main focus is what can I do to make my team better.
I thought we developed a physical attitude we needed to do. I'm really looking forward to seeing this growth of this team in phase 4 that we have, which is the most important in the summertime.
Rockies at home facing the Dodgers in the first start of 2016 for John Gray. Had to shake off some of that rust early. Second batter of the game, Corey Seager. Deep fly ball to center that keeps on flying. 2-0 LA. In the fourth, my boy Nolan Arenado clawing the Rocks back into the game. Solo shot to left. Then later in the frame with a runner on, Ryan Rayburn. That one just sneaks out. Hey, it doesn't have to go into the upper deck to be a home run. Just has to get over that fence. That gives the Rocks a lead. They would hang on to it, winning 7-5. Sky Sox wrapping up their series against the Sounds before hitting the road. Speaking of hitting, this Orlando Arcia kid, yeah, he's really good. Single up the middle, Keon Broxton scores. That's Arcia's 9th RBI of the year. To the 4th inning now, Sox with 2 on and no outs. Jake Elmore at the dish. Hits it hard, but straight at the shortstop. Sounds would turn 2. And it's another game that goes right down to the wire. In the bottom of the 9th, Manny Pena hits a walk-off single. And the Sox would win, getting out of Dodge 8-7. All right, now this is part of the morning when we're going to talk about the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. However, this time we're not talking soccer, we're talking nicknames. Soccer gives us some good ones too. Ronaldinho, Pele, Kaká. How about Suggsy?
Everybody, since I started playing soccer, even as a kid, they've called me Suggsy. It just kind of defaults to that. So it's been there my whole life, and I don't mind it at all. If somebody called me by a different name, my first name, I don't think I'd respond, to be honest.
First name is Josh, if you missed that in the lower third there. Also a note on the Switchbacks, the USL and ESPN has come to an agreement to televise some of their games, which means the Switchbacks will be on ESPN3 on May 13th from right here in Colorado Springs. So some great exposure for both the Switchbacks and the USL at large. That's a look at sports. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, thanks, Nick. And speaking of the Switchbacks, they're back in Colorado Springs today. They face off against San Antonio FC this afternoon. They're hoping to bounce back after a disappointing loss to the Seattle Sounders 2 that happened last weekend. Kickoff for today's match is at 1:30 at Switchback Stadium. Also ahead today, the Colorado Rapids are facing off against the Seattle Sounders this evening. The match begins at 7 o'clock tonight at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. And also tonight, a lot of sports here in Colorado. The Colorado Rockies are back at Coors Field for Game 2 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Rockies are hoping for a second win at home. The first pitch is at 6:10 this evening. We'll, of course, have complete highlights of the game ahead on KRDO News Channel 13 at 10 o'clock tonight. Time now, 8:29. An investigation is underway at a home in Rock Rimmon in Colorado Springs. Still to come in our next half hour, we're taking a live look at the damage left behind by the massive fire. Investigators are still there right now. Again, this is a live look of the investigation as it just begins this morning. We'll have more details after the break. Plus, an official with Donald Trump's campaign is revealing some interesting new information about the candidate. Still to come in your Decision 2016, we'll hear what's being said about Trump and how the Republican Party is reacting.
And of course, you've heard us talk about the Switchbacks already this morning, and the forecast for this afternoon, as promised, looks like this. Kickoff is at 1:30. There will be some clouds around. There will be a small chance for showers and storms. The real concern, I suppose, for the players is the wind. South-southwest at 10 to 20, gusting as high as 35. But it's a beautiful day for some football. Temperatures in the 70s throughout much of the match. Details in that forecast are coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Let's see, I see a home. I see black marks on the
From Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's 8:33 on your Saturday, April 23rd. I'm Bonnie Silkman. First up this morning, a home is heavily damaged and unsafe to enter this morning after a fire in Colorado Springs. Crews are investigating a 2-alarm fire. It began in the 6900 block of Black Hawk Place. That's in the Rock Rimmon area on the north side of Colorado Springs. Now, 2 people were treated at the scene, and that is also where we find KRDO News Channel 13's Carl Winder. He's live with the very latest information for us. Good morning, Carl.
Bonnie, firefighters are still out here, but let me step out of the way and zoom in and show you that this is where the fire happened early this morning. Emergency crews responded to the fire just after 1 this morning. We spoke with witnesses who say they heard an explosion and saw a large ball of fire inside one of the houses in the neighborhood. Firefighters use a different tactic with this fire by not letting the flames affect other homes. The house suffered heavy damage from the flames and is considered unsafe. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. If any new information comes up, we'll be sure to get it to you. In Colorado Springs, Carl Winder, KRDO News Channel 13.
Carl, thank you. Now, we do have big developments this morning after a body was discovered in Colorado Springs inside of a storage unit. One person is now in custody and facing charges. James Wu was taken into custody late last night. He is now facing murder charges. Now, the victim was found dead yesterday morning at a storage complex on Platte near Murray. Their identity has not been released. We do know that the person from Colorado Springs, or a person rather, from Colorado Springs was reported missing yesterday morning. That happened just before the body was found. As KRDO News Channel 13's Bart Bedsole reports, the suspect was pulled right out of an airport as he was trying to flee the country. It's new for you this morning.
El Paso County investigators found the body inside the victim's own van that also had 2 broken windows. A worker at the complex told KRDO the victim was a female and appeared to have a gunshot wound, but detectives aren't confirming that tonight. They do say the storage unit was leased by this man, James Wu, who immediately became a suspect. Investigators say Wu made it to the Denver airport today and then Seattle and intended to fly to Hong Kong.
We got the information. He was an hour from departing the States for Hong Kong. We were able to get a hold of the Department of Homeland Security, provide them with the information, and they made the apprehension on the aircraft.
Even before deputies confirmed it was a homicide, neighbors were shaken by the discovery of a body.
I don't know how to even put it in words, when it happens this close. It's just 30 feet from the business. It's just hits close to home.
Deputies aren't saying what brought them to the storage unit in the first place or what additional evidence connected Wu to the victim or the crime, but they doubt he expected to be captured this quickly.
I don't believe he knew that we had found the decedent. I give that credit to my detectives and my supervisors of the investigations division, who did an outstanding investigation and was able to locate him prior to him departing the country.
Bart Bedsole, KRDO News Channel 13.
And according to a spokesperson for the SeaTac Airport in Seattle, James Wu did not put up a fight when federal agents found him waiting to board a flight to Hong Kong. As of last night, he was still at the airport waiting for FBI agents from Denver to pick him up and bring him back to El Paso County. All right, bringing things back here to southern Colorado, a live look in Pueblo from our Parkview Medical Center neighborhood weather network cameras. 50 degrees, not too shabby, Jay. We're expecting a pretty nice weekend. You might have to duck and dodge a few showers, but all in all, a pretty beautiful start to our Saturday for us.
That's right, Bonnie. Even though you can see some of those clouds, temperatures are pretty mild this morning. 50 degrees, you talked about. Those clouds, of course, will give us a chance for some showers later on. The clouds, they're also going to give us some fire danger. As long as we don't see any kind of showers, we're going to continue to see gusty winds today as we find ourselves between these low pressure centers that are going to continue to give us active weather for the next week or so. So there's a high fire danger, red flag warning from 11 o'clock this morning until 7 o'clock this evening for Pueblo County over towards La Junta, near Lamar, and south to Kim and over towards Trinidad as we go through this afternoon. Their humidities will be somewhat lower than they will be in other parts of southern Colorado, especially off to the west of the interstate where there could be some snow over some of the highest peaks. 56 right now in the Springs, 50 in Pueblo. As you go up into the mountains, temperatures are sitting in the 40s and 50s, 41 at Leadville, 54 at Salida. Mid-60s in some of those plains locations, 66 right now in La Junta. And as we zoom in now to the Pikes Peak region, it's 54 at Monument, 55 at Peregrine, 60 in Mountain Shadows, 46 in Divide, 48 at Manitou, 60 in southeastern Colorado Springs, 59 in Cimarron Hills, and 56 in Falcon. Down to the Pueblo region we go, 54 at the Zoo, Pueblo West, 50 at the Riverwalk downtown, 56 in Canyon City, 50 at Copper Gulch, 49 in Westcliff, 61 in Colorado City. Down to the southern end of the state we go. Temperatures sitting not at 82 at Raton Pass. I doubt that. It's more likely 62 than 82. 59 right now at Trinidad, 54 at Purgatory River, 54 for our friends in Walsenburg, 56 in La Veta. Temperatures by the end of the day, they're going to be sitting in the 70s and 80s. There is that chance for the showers and storms, though. As we go through the afternoon, we'll track them for you with that Skycast. And, of course, we'll show you the high temperature in your neighborhood. Go from plains to mountains. Let you know how warm it's going to be today, coming up in just a couple of minutes. Bonnie?
Jay, thank you. A measure that would ban certain types of marijuana edibles is moving forward now. That bill would prevent pot-infused gummy bears and other items from looking like fruit. Supporters say this is an effort to keep pot out of the hands of kids. But opponents say that's up to parents to make sure little ones stay clear of edible marijuana. A final vote is needed before this bill heads to the Senate. Well, people flying out of Denver International Airport can now take the train to the airport. 2, 3. All right. Take a look. The new A train is now up and running. It runs from Union Station in Denver to DIA. That's a journey of about 37 minutes. There are also 6 stops along the way. The fare is $9 each way, and the train will run almost all day and night, only shutting down from 1 to 3 a.m. On the campaign trail, officials from Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's campaign are revealing some interesting and new tidbits about the campaign. And as ABC's Mary Bruce reports, that new information is worrying GOP leaders. It's new in your decision 2016.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What the hell? What? Let's have some fun.
Donald Trump is known for his colorful rhetoric and over-the-top antics.
Get him out of here. Get him out. Build the wall. Build the wall. We're going to knock the hell out of them, and then we're coming back, and we're going to rebuild our country.
But behind closed doors, his campaign suggests this is just an act.
When he's sitting in a room, he's talking business, and he's talking in politics, in a private room, it's a different persona. And when he's out on the stage, he's projecting an image that's for that purpose.
In audio obtained by the New York Times, his new campaign chief promises Republican officials Trump will tone things down.
The part he's been playing is evolving into the part that now you've been expecting, but he wasn't ready for. The negatives will come down, the image is going to change.
But with the general election around the corner, there's one thing he says won't be changing.
Crooked Hillary, right? Don't we want to run against crooked Hillary?
Those attacks on Hillary Clinton. But Ted Cruz, who Trump has dubbed Lying Ted, says Trump's the one who's lying.
He's telling us he's lying to us. You look at what his campaign manager says, is that this is just an act. This is just a show. It doesn't make any sense to support the guy who is blatantly lying to you and laughing about it. He is making fun of us right now.
That was ABC's Mary Bruce reporting. Donald Trump currently leads Ted Cruz by about 300 delegates. Happening now, the on and off ramps at I-25 and Fillmore are closed this morning. We've been updating you about this all morning on Good Morning Colorado. So a heads up for drivers. Fillmore is closed from Chestnut Street to Mark Dabbling. This is a look from I-25 and Fillmore right here, so you can see how things are looking right now. Now, crews are replacing asphalt here. They're also working on a new bridge project. Drivers can use Garden of the Gods or Fontanero as a detour. This area will remain closed all weekend, so certainly want to plan for that. It's expected to reopen again 5 a.m. Monday morning. Energy efficiency, that's the name of the game across the country. Colorado College is working to bring energy costs down on campus. We'll tell you how. Plus, Black Hills Energy customers, they may see their utility rates going down. We'll explain how that could happen. Time now, 8:42. Everyone, happy Saturday. A live look in La Vida with our new Viera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network cameras. That is just beautiful in Huerfano County. Check out those snow-capped mountains up there. Skiers and snowboarders. It's going to be a pretty nice day for everyone this weekend. Time now 8:45. A coffee company in Pueblo showed off their earth-friendly device this weekend. Solar Roast Coffee put its fiery roaster on display at Rollins Library. Now, this is powered by mirrors reflecting light energy. This roaster has enough energy to, check this out, light a piece of wood on fire.
It's been known to get temperatures of 1100 degrees. We've been able to melt aluminum with it. So it can get pretty hot. You can also make pizza with it.
We can make pizza with it. That sounds pretty good. Well, the company says it roasts all of its coffee with solar energy. Very cool. Well, building or retrofitting buildings to be more earth-friendly is becoming a big trend in southern Colorado. Energy retrofitting is a process that evolves older buildings into more energy-efficient ones. Now, cars and buildings are the two biggest consumers of fossil fuels. Colorado College is now using new heating and cooling technology at the Spencer Center.
It used a technology called variable refrigerant flow air conditioning, and it's much more efficient than your typical system. It can use heat from one side of the building to heat the cold side of the building.
The new system at the Spencer Center is already a big money saver, cutting energy costs from 90 cents per square foot to just 57 cents. Very cool. And Black Hills Energy customers in Pueblo will soon have the opportunity to save money on their bills. The company has started construction on a new, larger solar garden in the home of heroes. Black Hills has one operating now, but the new one will allow more customers to buy into the solar grid and get credits on their bill to save money.
They get to participate in the solar renewable energy, so it's a green energy source. And then it's also going to help lower their bill. So depending on how big their share is, that'll help offset their electric usage.
Hey, sounds like good news. Now, Black Hills is going to continue building solar gardens in the future. Jay, you know, you've done a lot of stories on the solar gardens. You know all about that.
Yeah, solar gardens are pretty cool, and there's something that you're going to see a lot more of as we go through the years ahead. Certainly both in Colorado Springs and all around the state of Colorado. Lots of solar, so why not build solar gardens, right? Wolf Creek Pass, one place is seeing a few clouds this morning, as most areas around the region are. 37 degrees, winds out of the southwest at 17 miles per hour. Your travel conditions for today call for a few dries as we go through our Saturday drive. We'll call for a chance for a few showers along all the highways and byways around the region. Could be some isolated stronger storms out in the eastern plains. For the most part, though, it's more garden variety stuff as we go through our day-to-day. Details in that forecast let you know if you can plant that garden this week or will there be snow. Show you those high temperatures, too, coming up in a few minutes. There are good numbers of clouds around as we go through our Saturday morning. As you head out to your morning time plans, the sunglasses won't necessarily be your friend. You won't necessarily have to have them, unless you want to use them as a fashion accessory, of course. But there will be some clouds and eventually a chance for showers and storms to fall from the clouds as we go through the afternoon. As we see our temperatures, though, despite the cloud cover, it will be mild. It will be warm. In fact, in lots of places, especially out in the eastern plains, in places like Rocky Ford. 86 the high today in La Junta, 87 in Lamar, 83 at Springfield, 82 in Trinidad and also Pueblo, mid-70s in the Springs and in Walsenburg, 76 and 75, 78 in Canyon City, 50s and 60s up in the high country, 67 at Salida. Speaking of Rocky Ford, we'll top out at 85 degrees there today, so the melons are certainly going to like that kind of weather as they try to become nice and juicy for us later on in the season. 87 at Los Animas and also at Sheridan Lake. 82 is your high today in Kim, and temperatures as you head into the Pueblo region will also be sitting in the 70s and 80s, 74 at Wetmore, 72 in Beulah, 75 in Colorado City, 79 at the Zoo, Pueblo West, 84 in Boone, 81 at Penrose, 69 for Texas Creek. Up to the Pikes Peak region we go, 61 your high today in Woodland Park, 58 in Devise, 60 in Cripple Creek, 73 at the shops at Briargate, 70 in Falcon, 71 in Peyton, 77 in Ellicott, and pushing 80 down in Fountain and Hanover. Zooming out now to give you an idea of what's going to happen with that skycast as we go through the rest of the afternoon into the evening. First, the sky scan shows us all the clouds that we're seeing right now. But again, notice that there are no showers nowhere as we look at the radar side of our satellite radar loop. The showers are coming later on today, though, and the skycast indicates them. This is the view at noon, not really too much to look at. But as we go through 5:30 this evening, we'll begin to pick up a chance for showers, especially to the west of the interstate. And there will be an isolated shower or storm that will pop up towards the Kansas line as well. This is where the heaviest activity is going to be as you head over towards Kansas today, because temperatures there will be much warmer than they will be, especially over towards I-25 and up into the mountains. Speaking of the mountains, how about some snow for you? That's a possibility above 12 and 13,000 feet as we go through this afternoon. As we go through this evening, the showers spill their way across the interstate. The ones in the plains become fairly heavy before beginning to fade away and pushing eastward into Kansas. Then we'll see as we go through our Sunday morning, much calmer weather. A little bit of snow possible along I-70 over towards the Eisenhower Tunnel and back towards some of the ski resorts where, of course, they love any extra snow any time of the year. But as we go and we see that there's some snow north of I-70, west of I-25, and it, for the most part, stays confined to that area as we go through our Sunday afternoon into our Sunday evening. So 9 o'clock doesn't feature too much to really talk about. Very few clouds, much less any showers or storms. 7-day forecast calls for another storm system to come into the region, though by Monday that does give us a chance for some rain with a couple of claps of thunder attached to it. Temperatures go from 76 to 69 to 67 and then drop even further into the lower to middle 60s with another more active storm system coming into the region as we end off the 7-day outlook. In Pueblo, we're sitting in the lower 80s today, then it's mid-70s tomorrow, lower 70s on Monday, upper 60s to right around 70 as we end off the forecast. And yeah, you're going to get that next storm too, as well as that third one coming later in the week. 78, 73, and 72 in Canyon City for the first 3 days, and then it's lower to middle 60s throughout the rest of the forecast. We'll push 70 as we end things off next Friday. And in Teller County, we're in the lower 60s today, then it's mid to upper 50s on Sunday and Monday, lower to middle 50s. Take us through the forecast. There will be a chance for some snow to mix in. Yeah, we're talking about snow still in Teller County, but for the most part, this is above the Woodland Park level, perhaps Divide. Might get a little bit of snow as you're a few hundred feet higher than our friends in the city above the clouds. We're going to see possibly some snow even in Woodland Park, though, especially if it falls in the morning, because temperatures there will drop into the upper 20s as we end out the forecast. Overall, though, much different than it was last Saturday.
Yeah, like opposite.
We're not breaking out the snow parkas, the boots, and all that stuff.
No snow pants today.
Because instead of talking about 2 feet of snow, we're talking about a little bit of rain.
Right, and a little bit of sunshine and warm temperatures. I think that's what people are really going to feel this weekend.
That's right. Very mild, especially compared to where it was only a few days ago.
Absolutely. All right, Jay, thanks so much for the forecast. Well, he's a very handsome pup who's looking for an active family to call his own. Gretchen Presley introduces us to Leroy. He's our pet of the week.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Presley from the Humane Society of the Pikes Peak region, and my handsome friend today is named Leroy. We are calling Leroy a 3-year-old neutered pointer mix. He came in as a stray, so we don't know much about him. Leroy seems very social, and it's easy to walk on a leash. He would love to take a walk with you around the block every evening, but he's not above curling up on the couch for a good cuddling session either. At 60 pounds, Leroy is a little bit on the bigger size, but that just means there's more of him to love. If you are looking for a dog that will enjoy your outside activities as much as the night in, come visit with Leroy today. Leroy's adoption fee is $150, which includes a voucher for a veterinary exam, vaccinations, 30 days of pet health insurance, a 1-year dog license, and a microchip. Visit our website at hsppr.org, like us on Facebook, or come down to 610 Abbott Lane to meet Leroy and all his furry friends. And if you're looking for ways to keep your animal-loving kids busy this summer, registration is open for Camp Whiskers and Wags at Humane Society of the Pikes Peak region. Campers get to interact with all kinds of critters, make treats for the shelter animals, and even take some special projects home with them. Log on to hsppr.org/camp to register before we fill up.
Morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. It's finally the weekend. A live look in Colorado Springs with our Gold Hill Mesa Neighborhood Weather Network cameras. Check it out. Although we do have some clouds from this beautiful view, it's already 61 degrees. So that gives you an idea how warm the temperatures are going to get this weekend. A pretty nice start to our Saturday. Time now 8:58. So, Jay, we got a pretty good look out for this weekend. Time to get outside for sure.
That's right. Of course, our hiking and biking forecast looking pretty good, too, around southern Colorado. You see that there will be a couple of showers and storms to duck and dodge later on this afternoon. Of course, Mike Everett will be tracking them for you on KRDO News Channel 13. But if you don't find yourself underneath one of those, going to be a pretty good day today, no doubt about it. Temperatures right now sitting in the mid-50s, 55 in the Springs, 54 in Pueblo, 60 in Canyon City. How about 71 in Lamar? Just about 9 o'clock in the morning, 40s and 50s up in the high country. Highs today will be pushing 90 in places like Lamar, mid-80s in La Junta as well. Temperatures 76 in the Springs, 82 in Pueblo, 78 in Canyon City. Then it's 50s and 60s up in the mountains, but there could be some snow on top of the highest peaks in the mountains today, above 12 and 13,000 feet. So, Bonnie, you know, it's a little reminder that winter's not done yet.
Right.
And there's a possibility for some snow later in the forecast.
Late April, of course it's not.
No, of course not. Mike also tracks that forecast, which does have fairly active weather in it, too.
Gotcha. All right, Jay, thanks so much. I believe we have time to show you your Wake Up Colorado photo. We love this one. It looks like it's taken from the sky, perhaps from a plane or in the air, because it looks like it's above the clouds there. Beautiful view from Loyal. This was sent to us and in Colorado Springs. We want to see how you wake up. We love to see your photos. Post them to our Facebook page, KRDO News Channel 13. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great weekend.